A warrior's wisdom. There is an expression amongst the Lakota people, washitsu, wa-shi-tsu, which has become misused as a slang to define white people. The true meaning of this has been forgotten by most as a result of letting go of the original teachings, veering from the good red road. The meaning of this phrase, washitsu, must be understood in order that those who are returning to the light may successfully do so. Creator gave us this word to define wachitsu, that word, to define those without souls, two-hearted humans, those who are not connected to their centers, which is connected to the source. There is a center of the source, the Wakan Tanka, the great mystery. In the beginning of creation, all that was created in a moment, the same moment. Each soul was born as a particum of light, like the spark that is within the flame. Many sparks making up the flame which flickers in the darkness, giving off the warmth and the light. And the many flames making up the whole of the fire itself. There is a light which, within the fire, it holds up. It would light the entire darkness before them, correct? But if they were to take that same stick of wood and hold it up in the light of the afternoon sun, the light of the sun would absorb the light of the stick, would it not? Do you understand now? Our elders have told us there were never many human beings in this world. And then the wachitsu began to come in increasing numbers. They were like locusts. They did not know who their mother and father were. They devoured everything and killed for no reason, almost for the love of it. This happened because we walked away from the red road and got lost upon the black road. We have lost our abilities to call up the spirits and the forces of this earth as we once did. The eagle's voice awakened in my heart again. Sad times are seen for the people. The times will become increasingly worse unless they return to the old ways. Eagle speaks. Do you remember your elders telling you this? Can you see the picture this far yet? He continues. Those without souls, the wachitsu, are emanations of your own light. They are manifested by your own essence. They are a result of your own thought forms. They possess no souls of their own. They are emanations of the souls of mankind themselves. As they are, as they act, as they think, so shall the emanations be. They are reflections incapable of creation, for they are no part of source. Whew! I was overwhelmed at this information and the implications it brought. Some heavy shit. as I am certain you are as you read these words. Oh, yeah. I struggled once again to grasp my intent and to not fall into the trap of thinking. For the mind can trick you. All information must be perceived through the heart for the truth to be learned. I had to rely on simply feeling the words as words, were only sounds which traveled upon the wind. Words have interpretations, but sounds can be understood by all species, all beings, in all dimensions. For sounds are the releasing of emotions from deep within the spirit of a being. The guardians are given life through the spirit of man. Many are of the earth, some originated in other dimensions, but some are also born of the emanations from mankind's souls. They can even take on physical form and walk amongst you side by side. Shit. How they are, how they interact with you, and the world around them is in direct relation to your intent. This is a part of the warrior's wisdom. The warrior knows this and thus commands the nature of interaction with their reality by keeping close watch on intent. Oh boy. I had lost all sense of where I was listening to Eagle. Me too. I was perhaps in the stream of consciousness, the river that flows forever. Yet, I was aware of a being in the crystal mist, having lost all sense of self except in thought. I realized in that flash of a moment that the crystal mist must be the light of the activated void. The place where all things are manifest through our dreaming. For the visions passing before me that had no form were too numerous to count. They were happening too fast to isolate. Was there such thing as visual emotions? I wondered. What does this have to do with anything? I found these words spilling out of me, perhaps expressing my fears. The eagle was looking directly into my eyes. It was as if we were interchanging relationships with each other. At times, I was the eagle, and at times, the eagle was outside of me as my teacher. I became aware of a sound which had been ever present throughout my vision. It was like the wind, yet it possessed tonal qualities. Then, in the next moment, as I was feeling it change, the eagle spoke. It has to do with connecting with the guardians. You will have to reconnect to the guardians as the shifting intensifies, for they are no longer able to contain the evil that they have been protecting you from. That which has been done out of ignorance. Without this connection to them, mankind could be overwhelmed by their own actions. They would fall prey to their lesser selves and the darkness that exists in the shadows. Then mankind themselves, as well as their emanations, might no longer be expressed upon the field of realities. Ghost Wolf continues. I found myself having the strangest thoughts. What would happen to the spirit guides if there were no longer a mankind to have thoughts of them? Would they still be of their own source? Or would they disappear with the consciousness that created them in the shifting? And what of this tinsel bubble which contains time? What it meant as a metaphor, or was it meant as a metaphor, or was it spoken of as a hard reality? No sooner did I have these thoughts, the eagle responded. The Wachitsu are all of these beings that are born of man. They are and exist in the spirit world because they are in the consciousness of man. Some have been given a job, the job being the guardians of man's spirit, as well as the reflectors of mankind's thoughts and emotions. This condition must exist because it is the spirit dealing with the spirit. Eagle continues. Mankind's consciousness is reflecting their perception of the Devic realms and Earth spirit realms has, and continues to, inadvertently, to create them. They are reactionary in energy and action. Like the child watching the parent, they essentially imitate their creator's behavioral and emotional blueprints. Yet they possess a life force while having no soul. Another reflection from the Hall of Mirrors. So, throughout the evolution of man's consciousness, some of these emanations have taken on physical form, some being of lower vibrations and others being higher vibrations. These beings, for they are beings, are immortals in many ways. However, their perpetuity into the future reality depends wholly upon the success of mankind's transition through the shift, while fifth world reality comes into full expression. Eagle continues. They are helping to effect, with an E, the quickening. The people are now sensing. Can't you feel it, that quickening of things? Oh. In their desperation to assist mankind in their awakening as we approach the final hours before the purification, they are manifesting into physical form and walking amongst us. They know that this shifting of seasons is inevitable. Mankind is already in the fourth dimension, and feeling the chaos of the transition. This transition is being expressed and experienced on every level: emotional, physical, and spiritual. Mankind will now pass into the remaining thunders. Ghost Wolf. As often happens, I drifted out of trance state and back into a contemplative reality. Here, there were so many things swimming through my head. I have been a friend, a beneficiary, an observer with several elders, representing quite a cross-section of cultural expressions, never mind geographical locations. He's having a download. Ghost Wolf continues. I have been gifted and chosen as the spirit holder of many of the prophecies and sacred teachings of these elders. They were the holders of the knowledge for their people, their tribes, and their clans. All the prophecies were blending into one fractured fairy tale, having one basic fabric or connecting link. Not all the pieces were in my possession. Perhaps they never would be. I could see the commonality of all of them, and yet the telling of it in the way emotionally I grasped the vision would probably be a task beyond my talents. It could take a lifetime, and I will probably spend the rest of this one trying to complete that mission. Aho. Aho. Aho.